Hi everyone, it's Patty. Welcome back to the channel. For today's card project, I'm using new dies from the January 2026 release. I will always be your friend. So very cute. There's a definite theme here. The Headmaster Wizard mug. And I used the Phoenix. And then I just needed the tree from the haunted house. So it's a pretty quick and easy card, so let's get started. So at first I cut out the Phoenix out of red cardstock, and I cut the wing add-ons out of orange cardstock, and now I'm just using some ink to add a little bit of depth around the edges. And I'll do the same with the Phoenix. It's amazing how much a little ink blending adds to a design. And now I'm just going to flick the lines on the wings that were embossed from the die with a darker Copic marker. I believe I was using YR07 or something like that, YR06. And now same thing with the red. They had embossed lines for feathers on the Phoenix, so I was just coloring those in and then blending them out. And that's R08 and R27 that I used. So there, oh, I'm coloring the Phoenix eyes too. B24 on that one. So I'm taking just a scrap of white paper and gluing it behind the Phoenix, so I have a place to glue. I have something to glue the eyes to. So adding his tail, and you can put it, I put it in front, you can also put it in the back and have that part of the tail from the back, but I wanted it in the front. I didn't want a really red Phoenix. I wanted a lot of orange on it since it does have fire. And again, you could have layered the wings behind the red wings and just had some of the orange wings peeking out from beneath it. There's a couple ways to do it. And then adding the eyes on there, and then the orange beak. And now we're adding the feet. They were so tiny, but it's just right. And that's our Phoenix. Okay, onto the owl. I just wanted a really pale, not white, but just a very pale gray owl. So I'm using a larger blending brush so that the color doesn't get so saturated. And then on the head, the body, and the wings, I'm adding Twilight ink very lightly. And then the face, I don't color at all. So I started out with the big blending brush, and now I'm down to a smaller one so that it gets a little darker around the edges. So the same ink color, just different ink blending brushes. So the middle of the face of the owl stays white, but everything else has gray on it. And now I'm just marking where there would be a shadow from the head onto the neck. And then doing something similar. There's some nice embossed lines on the head. So just adding some shading on there. And same thing with the wings, just emphasizing those embossed lines. And just blending out everything I just colored. Okay, so now we are going to color the eyes for the owl. And I'm just coming in with a really dark marker. And now we're coloring the beak and the feet, I believe. Yeah. And I just used YR16 for those. Okay, and now we've got the tree, and I'm just doing a little bit of ink blending on the tree. So this is where the owl's going to sit on the card. All right, I have my elements ready, and now I'm going to assemble. So I'm gluing the dark part of the eyes onto the white part of the eyes for the owl. Isn't that hat awesome for the owl? It's like a really cool fedora. So gluing the head onto the body, and then I'll glue the face onto the head. And you can really see the owl coming together so quickly. And again, wonderful die cuts by Pixie Dust Designs. There's etch lines or embossed lines on the face, so you know exactly where to put the eyes and the beak. That eye is just the cutest. And there's like instead of just white highlights, it's like a diamond highlight. Just makes it so charming. Adding the wings. And then the hat, it took me a second to figure out, but it goes, here we go. So that the brim of the hat does show on the back of the head. Get the beak on. I mean, what a sweet face they created for the face of that owl. And now we're adding the scarf, and then the little tied end of the scarf, and then we'll add the feet. So there are our birds. So now we need to figure out placement. And that's pretty much what I'm doing. So for the sentiment, I used I Will Always Be Your Friend, which comes with the owl die set. It's so wonderful that Pixie Dust Designs does that. And I used Brutus Monroe Penny Embossing Powder. And I did like the sentiment on vellum, but when you take pictures of it, it was not going well. So off screen, you'll see in the pictures, but not in the card making process, I did it on white paper. So I do the exact same thing I'm doing. I heat embossed with penny ink, and then I cut it out using an oval die cut. So what you'll see is the vellum sentiment, but I do end up changing it. So I only needed part of the tree on the card. A lot of it's going to get, oh, a good chunk of it's going to get trimmed off. So then the owl will be sitting in it. See, I made up a story in my head that the birds from Harry Potter are all friends. So now I got my Xyron, and I'm going to create a sticker. It's the best way to adhere vellum is to make the back a whole sticker. And you'll see in the camera, in real life, it's not as see-through, but when you put it on there with the camera, you can see through it. So it was kind of, yeah, so you can see the design behind it. In real life, it doesn't look that way, but that's why I ended up changing it. So that is my card front. So I'm going to trim down 1/8 of an inch all the way around so that there's a nice white border when I attach my card panel to my card base. And I decided not to take any off the top. I just took an extra 1/8 off the bottom. So this was really quick and easy, but it's a fun card for the Harry Potter fans. And there we go. All right. So here is our card that we made together. Look at that pretty shine. They're so cute. So I used big box store paper, and then I used the Headmaster Wizard mug, and I just used the Phoenix parts. And then I used the I Will Always Be Your Friend. It's so cute. You know, I should put that, I bet that feather would be cute sticking out of the hat too. And then the tree from the haunted house. So thanks so much for joining me today. Please like and subscribe, and we'll see you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.